Hey guys, welcome to another Sunday vlog. This time I am hired for a horror short film. I'm dressed for the occasion. It says Raise Hell, Cast Spells. This is gonna be a proof of concept film, so the production company will later pitch the future film idea and have this proof of concept short film, which is gonna win some awards. Like, we know it. This is a great story that's gonna be really amazing, and I'm really happy to be hired on it. I'm basically working with the director and the producer. So usually the producer hires me and the director later comes on after I write maybe 3-4 drafts. This time I'm working with the director and the producer directly since the beginning of the project. So that makes me very happy because the director wants to make sure this short film is in line with the theme he wants, and he's like very strict about it. He wants the thematic question to be like each plot point and each beat of the story has to be in line with the thematic question. I really love that because that means there's gonna be someone who checks up on me, who's like, hey, are we still in line with the team or are we going too far? What is going on here, Sada? Let's keep it tight, let's keep it compact. That's really, really important for me. I love working with directors because they know what they want. So they basically make sure I'm in line with what they want to do with this project. I'm really excited for this one, but I'm even more excited to share my process with you guys because it's gonna be a bit different than how I'm sharing my process where I'm hired for a feature film at the same time. I have many projects. I'm just sharing as much as I can with you guys. I really wanted to share this because horror short films, I think, are really important. Like, if you want to break in, horror is easy to shoot. Not like very easy. Of course, drama in one place is easier, but the horror genre really makes people excited. There's a lot of promise in horror genre. So if you want to break in, horror is a really good genre. Let's say the Blair Witch Project, was that it? Blair Witch. There are a lot of low budget horror films that get somewhere, and it really opens the doors for writers and directors and producers' careers. Horror is really, really important. I have this love and hate relationship with horror because I really get scared. Okay, like, I can't control it. As a kid, I used to watch a lot of horror movies. I don't know why I did that. Well, I know that's for another time, but I write really good horror because I scare myself. I write things that scare me, but then I get scared. Like, I'm still in the process of trying to figure that out. Maybe I should see a therapist. I really cannot wait to share my process with you guys. My approach to movie and TV show writing is a bit different than other people on this platform or people who try to sell you workshops and stuff, because I've been in the industry for 6 years. I have had many mentors, I've had many professors who had very different approaches, like 3-act structure, 4-act structure, Blake Snyder, blah, 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 like hero's journey. Of course, everyone knows these things, but there are also different professors and mentors and people who worked in Warner Brothers or Universal. I worked with them. They've mentored me. They've mentored me for months, where I learned their approach, these companies' approach. So what I do is I basically put them all together and make my own approach, which becomes more detailed. Like, I take Blake Snyder, hero's journey, and other things that I learned, and I make plot points in a way that it's more controlled. And I also come from a chemical and biological engineering background. I was talking to my client about this. They also come from a different background where we approach this in a very mathematical way. Of course, we put our soul and love into it, but at the same time, there are some formulas that work best. And that's what I share with you guys during these Sunday vlogs, and also on my podcast, which I share an episode every Wednesday if you want to check it out. Last week's Wednesday episode on my podcast is about how Hollywood is not doing good, but you can still earn money as a screenwriter or as a filmmaker. And I literally break down how you can start doing that. And I'm gonna share more of that. If you guys want, please comment and let me know. Like this video, make sure to subscribe. You know, I'm really doing this all for free just to like help people out there, because I know nobody helped me when I was an engineer, when I was studying engineering and I wanted to be a screenwriter. No one was there for me. I couldn't find any YouTube channels of people who actually talked about this, because people who talk are usually people like Michael Jamin, 28 years of a TV writer. I don't relate to that person. He's doing great, but he can't help me. I'm so sorry, but it is the truth. No one relatable had a channel or had something, a platform where they shared their experiences. It's usually very closed off and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I want to break that wall for this channel. You know, I don't know if you like it. Let me know. Without further ado, let's get to the video. But be warned that there might be horror transitions. I'm gonna use copyright footages from Storyblocks and horror music from Epidemic Sound. I'm just warning you because these things scare me too. But know that these things are not real. They're just, you know, obviously not real. But I just wanted to warn you guys because I am scared. Today is just gonna be the story development and me finding different ideas for the plot points and for the characters, so I can pitch this to the director and the producer on Monday. I'm gonna use what they told me to use, which is story areas. So first I'm gonna take a look at the examples of story areas the director sent me because I requested. I just wanted to take a look because some people have different approach. You know, they say story area, my teachers told me something else, some producer thinks of it as something else. Like, people add their own thing, people add their own twist. So I want to make sure I'm doing it the way the client wants. So first step is gonna be to look at the story area examples and what they told me to do, the templates and things like that. The second step is gonna be brainstorming. So I'm just gonna brainstorm some ideas. I already brainstormed before. I have some names for the characters. I have ages. I have things that I pitched to them that they kind of liked. So I'm just gonna put them onto the page and brainstorm a little bit more without getting lost in anything else, because there are also other steps where I'm gonna have to watch movies and do research and things like that. But I want to first brainstorm without having anything influence my thinking. Third step is gonna be research. So I'm gonna have to watch the movies that they sent me. There are short film examples which they found, like I have to watch them all and just see what worked, what didn't work. What can I do? Did they win any awards? If so, which awards did they win? And again, like, what are the characters? What are the setups? How many minutes are these horror movies? I'm gonna be scared, but I have to do this. There are also feature films they sent me. I don't want to tell you guys which films, just because, you know, we don't have NDA, but I just don't like sharing details, especially if, you know, they want to produce this. I don't want to share it too much, but they sent me 2 feature films that I have to watch. I might not watch all of them today, but I'm gonna put it on my list to make sure I watch it throughout the weekend before our meeting on Monday. And as I watch these movies, I might come up with more ideas. I don't want to look. god, he's stuck in a loop or something.
Watching these short films, I just remembered I was actually an actress on a horror short film like back in 2018.
So the fourth step is gonna be me writing down every single idea. So I'm gonna have different options for the short film, right? Option 1, option 2, option 3. Maybe it'll go to option 4 and 5. I don't know. But I'm gonna work on these things and I'm gonna make sure I have every single plot point as much as I can expand the story. And I'm gonna write it in as much detail as possible so then I can pitch these ideas to my clients on Monday. Let's get to work. I want to talk a bit about plot points, especially in a short film. People are usually very confused about plot points, and I totally get that. So here, I will share the plot points that I'm using, and I want to talk a bit about them. So first is opening image. In a horror movie, opening image is very important. And then in theme stated, we're gonna have the theme subtly stated through either an action sequence or through dialogues. But I also want to make sure in opening image or theme stated, there is some blood or something horror, a jump scare going on. So that way we can set the tone that this is a horror movie. Okay, that's really important. Then we have inciting incident. This is also called call to action, or Blake Snyder calls it, I don't remember. Moving on. Then I have accepting call to action. I don't want to call this break into two, but here's the thing, this is optional because sometimes I don't have time for the character to decide to accept the call to action. Like, it's a horror movie, like they are actually sometimes just forced to accept the inciting incident and start acting right away. So I might not have this moment, but I'm just putting it there. Then I have twist 1 because I just want to make sure there are twists and turns for the audience rather than blah 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 blah. You know, there are like, oh, this happened and then that happened. Oh my god, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to keep them at the edge of their seats. So I'm gonna have twist 1 before the midpoint. It's almost like fun and games, but after, you know what? There's also fun and games actually. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if there will be fun and games. I'll just add it between accepting call to action and twist 1 just to see if it's working out or not. But there's gonna be a twist 1, so there's gonna be a reveal of something or some action that's going on that is like very intriguing. And then I have midpoint, of course. Midpoint is very important. Short films also need a midpoint at the middle of it. And then I have twist 2. Again, I want to keep the audience at the edge of their seats. I want to keep them guessing, like, what's happening, what's going on. And then we have lowest moment. And here's the thing, in a short movie, you can just leave it here. Especially if it's horror, thriller, or crime. You can just leave it there with someone dying and that's it. That's the shocking ending. Or you can have a little climax moment if you want to go on, you know, and show the character working for something, fighting for their life. And then final image, it's usually like there is no resolution usually in short films. I don't like resolutions in short films. I like keeping people at the edge of their seats. And if you resolve it, my dog is just... I don't like resolution because then we are leaving the audience satisfied. Here, especially in a proof of concept short film or just horror and thriller movies in general, if you want to leave the audience like with a bang, you shouldn't resolve the story. You should leave them with a question. So what I want to do here is, I don't think this is going to give anything away. I think I'm going to have a shot of an object that's going to indicate a question. Was the killer the main character all along or not? Ooh, I have goosebumps. So I'm going to leave the audience with that question by just a little shot, literally no character, nothing in the frame other than that object. So that's what I want to do with the final image. Again, like resolving a story is really not going to help with what you're trying to do here, especially in a proof of concept. You want to leave people with a question. Here's the thing. There are A, B, C stories. So yes, you can resolve A and B story or B and C story. Here, I'm going to resolve B and C story. A story is the main story, so I'm not going to resolve that. I'm going to leave it with a big bang. But I'm going to resolve B and C story. So that way you leave the audience with some type of a relief, some type of like a satisfaction, like, oh, okay, this thing worked out for these characters. But then you're going to end with this shocking event or shocking revelation or shocking question revelation. It's like, oh, we're not sure. It could have, that object could have been there because the killer marked our protagonist, or the protagonist is the killer. We don't know. By the way, let me know if you guys like horror movies. Comment below what's your favorite horror movie. Mine is Hereditary. It actually like made me lose my mind. It was the craziest movie of all time. It made me, it's mind fuck, not gonna lie. So let me know your favorite horror movie, and maybe we can do a little, I don't know, plot point analysis. And that's it for today. I hope it was helpful in terms of how I develop a horror short film for my clients, especially working with a director and a producer. It's much more specific when a director is involved. Another tip that I want to share is I literally have a playlist, like a music playlist on Spotify that I make for different projects. So if it's a horror film, I just find horrifying, terrifying songs that give me the vibe of this horror film, of this project. So that way I can put on the music, get into the mood, and start writing or start brainstorming. I hope this was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe. I really have amazing podcast episodes coming every single Wednesday, where I finally break the fourth wall between Hollywood and aspiring writers, filmmakers, and actors. I really hope it's helpful. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time.